You know, in the summer months, one of the baits that you tend to fish a lot, especially off in deeper water, is a plastic worm. And there's two main plastic worms that I'm going to talk about right now. One of them is called a rage anaconda, and I'm actually going to rig it. The way I prefer to rig it, here's the bait right here. You look at, that's a big bait. It's about 10 inches long. I'm going to rig this actually Texas rig. And when I say Texas rig, the sinker is actually going to butt up right up on the bait. And so when I rig it, you basically get in line on the bait. You go in about a 1/2 inch, pull the worm up over the hook, and then I'm going to bury that hook. I'm going to come all the way through and I'm just going to skin hook it. This is a wide gap hook right here. And so that bait is totally straight. That's what I want with it. Now, when the weight comes off that, there's what the worm looks like. And that thing in the water is killer because that tail just kind of moves. Now, why do you rig two different worms? Well, the Texas rig, I typically am gonna fish either on deep ledges or on brush piles. If I'm gonna actually fish in a brush pile, I prefer a Texas rig to a Carolina rig. A Carolina rig is really good on structure, and I'm gonna show you that one also. Here's a Carolina rig right here. I've actually got it already rigged up. I've got about a 3-foot leader. This is a tour grade tungsten. It's a 1 ounce weight. I've got a glass bead on it with a swivel. Real easy setup. About 3 foot of line. I like fluorocarbon the best. And then the bait. The bait I prefer to fish on a Carolina rig the most, especially on a lake that's got some big fish in it, is a Rage Hog. This bait has got a lot of different moving parts to it. It's got the little flappers coming off the side. It's got these right here actually move a little bit, and then you disconnect this right here from the little tails on the bottom, and the bait gets real free, and it just is a great Carolina rig bait. Now, why do you fish a Carolina rig? A Carolina rig is great in deep structure. Now, some people think that this bait actually floats up off the bottom. It actually doesn't. It stays on the bottom, but it's a subtle presentation because it's just basically just kind of pulling along. The weight is digging into the bottom. Usually gravel or rock is the best place to do it. Big flats is a great place. When the cover's more spread out, a Carolina rig works really well. Just one rough spot out there, and the only way I seem to get a bite on it is with a Carolina rig. I have thrown everything else. Both kinds of worms can catch really big fish. They always do catch big fish, but it just depends on the situation. You got a brush pile, you got a bunch of rock, maybe you throw a Texas rig. You got more scattered cover, go with a Carolina rig. Both of them can catch big fish.